welcome to this week's video. I'm Courtney and this is my life of projects. I'm a knitter who also spins, and I make quilts, and I also do some embroidery. So grab your project and stitch along with me. So this week I wanted to do something a little bit different since the holiday season is coming up, and I put together a gift guide for the knitters, spinners, and anyone crafty in your life. Most of these gifts are fairly affordable, so they make great stocking stuffers, and I've linked everything down in the description box below. I also just want to mention that I'm not sponsored by any of these brands, so clicking the link doesn't do anything for me. I just personally believe in all of these companies or brands that I have linked, and so that's why I'm sharing them with you. So I will also have timestamps down in the description box so you can skip ahead to the knitting section, the quilting section, embroidery, or what have you. So we're gonna start with knitting. So this is the knitting tool that I can't live without. This is the knit kit, and this is, I think, the third version of this. And I'm not sure if it's the same manufacturer as before, but when it initially came out, it had most of the features, but it didn't have a needle gauge in the back. And the second version did. I have both the first and second generation, and I love them. And then for a while, I couldn't find them anywhere. And recently I found that Summer Camp Fibers sells them, and I have them linked in the description below, and it's upgraded even more from the previous two versions that I'm aware of. So I will just show you a little bit about what this awesome tool does. If the knitter in your life doesn't have one of these, highly recommend getting them one. And I will have the prices for everything down one side or the other. But it has 3 different row counters or stitch counters up at the top. The older version only had 1, so you can count rows, stitches, whatever you need to count, and you can keep track of multiple things as well, depending on your project, so that's fantastic. It has a retractable measuring tape, which all knitters need, so that's super handy. It has this one's a little harder to get out. It has a crochet hook with 2 different sizes, a really, really tiny one and then a larger one that is great for weaving in ends or whatever you need to do on a project. Again, this is geared much more towards knitters. I barely know how to crochet, so there aren't crochet specific things in this gift guide, I should mention, but there is a category for anyone crafty. So the other things that this includes, the needle guide. So it has sizes, oh, I can't see that, 1.75 up to 15. So you can gauge your needles if you are on the go and need to figure out which size needle you need to switch to. It has a TSA approved pair of collapsible scissors. I have flown with my knit kits, my older versions, hundreds of times, and I never had an issue with TSA taking away my scissors or anything, so that's always a bonus. It also comes with several stitch markers, needle point caps, needle tip covers, what are those called? These little needly end things that keep your projects from sliding off the needles, which I never use and always have to end up picking up stitches. So it comes with those. It comes with a tapestry needle, which again, wonderful for weaving in ends, several different sizes of stitch markers. This one also has a thread cutter over here on the side. So if for some reason you did lose your scissors, you can always just use the thread cutter. TSA hopefully won't take that away. And then it also has a cable needle over on this side. So this is a new addition that's different from the first and second versions, but it's just got a really basic, simple cable needle with a tapered end. I've not yet used their cable needle. I have one that I usually carry with me if I have a cable project, but it is a fantastic kit. If I'm traveling at all, I make sure one of these is in my bag. Highly recommend for the knitter in your life. I have multiple because that way I can keep them in different project bags, because really this is everything you need for any of your projects, even if you're not traveling. So if someone gave me a fourth one, I'd be really happy about it. So I feel like you can't go wrong getting one of these for a knitter in your life. My next item for knitters are stitch markers from Knit Boop. She is a creator and she makes the most gorgeous stitch markers. I only have one set. I want to get more. They are kind of hard to get because when she posts that she has updated the shop, they sell out really, really quickly. But a lot of hers use stones like rose quartz and things like that. And they are just really, really good quality. And I highly recommend her stitch markers as a really unique gift or stocking stuffer. Speaking of stitch markers, I mentioned these in my last video. These are from Coco Knits, and this is the flight of stitch markers. They have 5 different types in here. So they have medium-sized circles, large circles, small circles, a split marker, and then there's a triangle stitch marker in here as well. And they're all metal, but they're coated. And I really like the individual containers that they come in. And then you also have the whole box. So I keep these in my crafting room so I can grab either one of the small containers out and take it with me, or just get a couple markers out. But I really love everything that Coco Knits does. So this makes a great gift as well, because I've never met a knitter who has enough stitch markers. We're always losing them and we're always looking for new ones. So I like that these are metal because they slide on your needles a lot easier than the rubber ones. So these are definitely my preference. And the Knit Boop ones also are a metal ring. Again, both stitch marker options are great. So check these out as well. Then the other thing you can do for the knitter in your life, if you know them fairly well, is gift a pattern to them on Ravelry. That's always a great option. It supports a knitwear designer or crochet wear designer. So always consider that if you know them well enough and you have their Ravelry and can do that option. All right, so moving on to quilting. One of my new favorite tools that I've found this year is this really small glue stick from Fons and Porter. It has a much smaller tip than like a kid's glue stick that you would get at the craft supply store. And this one I got at my local quilt shop, but there's several places you can find them. I've linked them down below. But I've used regular glue sticks in the past, and I've also used the bottled white glue with a really small tip to do glue basting. I usually glue baste instead of pin most of my quilts, and this I like a lot better. This was a lot easier to work with. Using the liquid glue, some of it would bleed through onto my ironing board or my ironing mat. That was a pain. So I really, really like this option, and I found this glue stick to be the perfect size for any of the glue basting that I wanted to do. So always a good option because it's something that a quilter is going to run out of, so they can always use another one. The next thing I have for quilters is good thread. Quilters could always use more thread. I really enjoy the Aurifil thread packs. They have some beautiful ranges and packs of thread, and it's great quality for either hand sewing or machine sewing or quilting. So getting a pack of thread or just getting some of the basics, blacks and whites, those are things that quilters and sewers are always using a lot of. So that's a really good option for either a bigger gift if you want to get one of the packs, or a stocking stuffer to just get a few spools. I feel like another really good gift for a quilter that is a little more pricey is a pack of fat quarters, especially in solids or neutrals. That's something that we could always use more of in our stash. We could put it into just about any project. So something that's a basic that would go with whatever additional fabrics that they're using is always appreciated. So fat quarter bundles, always a good option, or a couple fat quarters in some pretty solid shades. So that's something that I definitely always appreciate. Another thing that I absolutely love is my rotating cutting mat. There are several different brands. I've read that the Martelli one is one of the best out there. I've never tried that. I've used some of their other products and they are an excellent company. And I know OmniGrid makes one as well, but these are a great tool for any quilter to have in their toolkit because you can really get the detail cutting instead of moving the blocks around every time. It just makes it so much easier, especially if you're cutting smaller blocks. So I love mine. I'm so glad that I bought one a couple years ago. Highly recommend one of these as well if you're looking for a gift for a quilter. All right, so we're on to spinning. So one good option for a stocking stuffer is a control card or spinning gauge. This is the one that I have, but there are several out there, both on Etsy and on thewoolery.com. The control cards have more information. I just have a basic gauge that helps me determine what size of yarn that I'm spinning. But the control card also has things like the twist and the degree on there. That's really nice to have as well. But even just a basic one that only does gauge is great. So always a good gift for a spinner that's really affordable. Other useful tools for spinners, wheel wax and wheel oil. We can always use more of this. It's something we're going to use up. So that's definitely something that would be appreciated by the spinner in your life. I have the Shot spinning wheel oil and the Ashford polishing wax. And it doesn't matter what brand of spinning wheel oil or wax that you get. You don't have to know the brand of wheel that they have. It's really a very similar product, whether it comes from Shot or the Woolery or wherever. You don't necessarily have to know a lot about their wheel. Either one of these, I use them on both of my wheels. Spinning wheel oil is pretty basic. So is the wax polish. So it's a pretty safe bet for the spinner in your life. Another really awesome gift option is a spinning wheel bag. So I don't have one, but the Woolery has a really great selection of several different colors and options. If your spinner in your life does any traveling, or if they end up putting their wheel in storage quite a bit, a spinning wheel bag would be a really nice thing to have. So you do need to know which type of wheel they have. The ones on here are for castle style bags, but if you've seen their spinning wheel, you can kind of tell the difference between a traditional and a upright wheel. So just make sure it looks like the bag would fit that wheel and you should be good to go. This is Editing Courtney popping in, and I just wanted to point out that on the Woolery's website, the bags show which type of wheel that each one of them fits. So there's a smaller bag and then a larger bag that fits the larger wheels, like a Shot matchless. So make sure you know the type of wheel that they have and which bag it would fit. If you have someone that does embroidery, I have a couple things that would be useful for them. The first is thread gloss. So I have two here. One's from So Fine and one is from Robot Mom Sews. This is an older one, but I absolutely love her thread gloss. The scents are amazing. I like that it has a scent. It also makes my project smell really good, but thread gloss is another one of those things that embroidery folks are going to use a lot of. Same thing for hand quilting. If you have anyone that does hand quilting, thread gloss is really, really useful for them as well. So that's a good stocking stuffer or small gift for someone that does embroidery or hand quilting. Another good one for really a quilter, knitter, spinner, maybe not spinner, quilter, knitter, or embroidery artist is a nice pair of scissors. I think I got this one from Robot Mom Sews as well. It's not available anymore that I've found, but if any quilt shop will have small pairs of embroidery scissors. That's typically what this smaller metal pair is called, even though you can use them for multiple things. But a really nice, sharp, small pair of scissors is a wonderful addition to almost any crafter's toolkit. Another good gift for folks who do embroidery are needle minders. I've got one here. You can see that it's holding my two needles on my project there. It just has a magnet on the back where it attaches to your project, and you can I sometimes attach mine to the bag that I have the project in. That way I don't have to move it around as I'm doing my embroidery. But they're great little gifts. They come in all different shapes, sizes, categories. There are food ones, there are animal ones. So you can easily find one that the person who does embroidery or hand quilting in your life would really like. If you have someone that does a lot of embroidery, good quality embroidery hoops would be a wonderful gift. I got these on Etsy from a maker out of Canada. These are fantastic quality. The hardware is really, really nice. The wood is also really high quality, and it's been sanded really well so that nothing catches. It's not going to give me a splinter. So I've got this linked below, but you can also go to your local quilt shop. Oftentimes they have embroidery hoops, but I definitely recommend checking the quality, because as someone who does embroidery, I want the hoop to be just as good as the piece of art that I'm putting in it. So good quality embroidery hoops are always a really nice gift. Now we're on to gifts for anyone on your list. And the first one that I have is the Knitter's Backpack by Ritual Dyes. I have multiple of these. It doesn't have any closures. It is just an open canvas bag, but it can be worn in 3 different styles. So it can be just a bucket bag. It can be kind of a one shoulder bag, or it can also be a backpack with 2 straps there. So I wear mine every single way, but the benefit of this is you can have your project down in it, and you can have the yarn coming up and out, and there's no clasps or zippers or anything that are going to catch the yarn or project. So I absolutely love this bag. I use it as my regular purse, even if I'm not carrying knitting with me. So really, I think anyone would appreciate these bags. They are so well made, and I have multiple of them because I use them every single day. So highly recommend these bags from Ritual Dyes. Another good option that I don't have, but I keep thinking about getting myself, is an ember mug. Several of my coworkers have them, and if you have a crafter in your life, they're probably either a coffee or a tea drinker. And the ember mug has a warming plate, and it keeps the mug warm, because I know I always start drinking my cup of coffee, wander off, and then my coffee is cold. So the ember mug is a really great gift. It is a little more on the pricey side, but really anyone would appreciate that gift if they're a coffee or a tea or hot beverage of any kind drinker. Most crafters I know tend to keep some type of log of their projects. If the person that you're gift shopping for likes to do things in an offline way, like I do, I absolutely love these pencils. These are the Blackwing pencils. They are really high quality pencil brand, and they have a nice eraser that it's a flatter design, as opposed to like your typical round pencil. And it does make it a little bit easier to erase, but I didn't think that the quality of a pencil would matter so much to me until someone recommended these to me, and I tried them, and they are mind-blowing. I am addicted to these pencils. I absolutely love them. So if you have someone that tends to do things in more of an old-fashioned, offline type of way, then absolutely get them a set of these pencils. They will change their life. Along with that, a good set of notebooks. These are the Moleskine, just cardboard paperback notebooks. I usually get the graph paper ones because if I'm doing quilts designing or knitting patterns, I tend to want graph paper, and I think that's true for most crafters. So I'd err on the side of the graph paper option. They also come lined and unlined, but these usually come in a set of 3. Bookstores will have these. Any art supply store, always a good option if you do know that the person in your life tends to like to do things in a more offline way. So highly recommend a set of notebooks. Another really good option is lotion. If you're sewing or spinning, especially, and your hands are too dry, it makes it really uncomfortable to work with that material or the fiber. and we're always reaching for lotion, especially in the winter. So great stocking stuffer. I always keep some around. This one is from Lush, but you can get a ton of different brands. Always something that most crafters would appreciate. Then the last thing that I wanted to mention was a non-physical object option. So a really good option for someone in your life that is crafty is to donate to a craft-focused charity project. So I have a couple that I thought I would mention. All of these projects I did look up on Charity Navigator. None of them have a rating because they are much smaller. Knitting and quilting focused charities tend to not be really huge and large enough to garner a rating on Charity Navigator type websites. So I tried to see if there was any ratings for these, but there's not. So definitely do your own research and think about the person that you would be donating this in honor of before you make a selection. But here are a couple that I really like. So one is the Linus Project. This is a nonprofit organization that provides new handmade blankets, both knitted and quilted, to children in need. So you can make a monetary donation to them to help support that work. So if you have someone that either knits or quilts, you can let them know that you made a donation in their honor. Another really awesome one is the Snuggles Project. This donates blankets to animals in shelters, and it can really help animals become more comfortable in that scary environment and make them easier for the staff and veterinarians to handle and hopefully get them adopted. So they accept monetary donations, and they accept both knitted and quilted and those hand-tied blankets. So you could make a donation for just about any crafter in your life, especially if they like animals. It's a really great charity to donate to instead of giving a gift. Another charity that is really important to me personally is Knit the Rainbow, which works with youth in New York City. At least 40% of homeless youth in New York City identify as LGBTQ, and Knit the Rainbow works to empower and protect these individuals by providing them with handmade or hand knitted or crocheted winter clothing and accessories. So it helps out homeless youth, and they also have a monetary donation option. It would be a really, really great gift for someone that's passionate about helping both homeless youth and LGBTQ kids. The next one is Bags of Love, and this is a charity that provides children who are suffering abuse or neglect with a bag of essentials, including toiletries, books, school supplies, and every bag also includes a handmade quilt or blanket, like those fleece tied ones. So a really good charity to support as well. You can make a monetary donation in honor of someone in your life. A really cool one that I came across was Coffee Creek Quilters. So this is an organization based out of Oregon that teaches quilting classes to women incarcerated at the Coffee Creek Correctional Facility. And they have been doing this since 2002, and it has a really wonderful mission, and it helps those that are incarcerated learn a skill and have something productive to do with their time. And anything that we can do to support folks that have been incarcerated, sometimes unjustly, is a really wonderful option. So if you think the knitter or quilter or crafter in your life would appreciate a charity like this, that's a really good option to give a donation to as well. And the final one that I wanted to mention is Black Artists and Designers Guild. Their focus is on creating a more inclusive and equitable creative culture for Black independent artists and designers in all areas of the arts. So I highly recommend checking them out. I have all of the charities linked in the description box, but they accept donations to help support their work and help support independent designers, creators, artists of all different kinds. So definitely check them out. So that's it for my holiday gift guide. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found something that you want to get for the crafter in your life, or maybe something to put on your wish list for some of your family or friends to get for you. Definitely check out the charities that I talked about in the description box below, and consider giving this holiday season to those in need as well. And I hope you have a good holiday this week, and I will see you in the next one.